Hi Gemini, this is Kajora Lovely with your general reading for the month of July 2019. For those of you who are curious, I'm reading with the Good Tarot. Sorry, has a glare. Very glossy cards. Okay. So let's see what's going on for Gemini for the month of July 2019. Okay. So where you are coming into this month is the Empress, which is actually a great place to be. This is you feeling abundant, fertile, whether that's ideas or actual pregnancy. You're feeling creative. A lot of you may be feeling the feminine energy, divine feminine energy this month. But overall, this means that you're feeling pretty prosperous. You're feeling pretty good. You've also got this card Call, which is the card for judgment. This is about having an awakening, epiphany, a realization of some sort. So some of you may be having these things could be related, but usually this is just some sort of aha moment or a realization. And it's usually when you're about to move on to a new chapter. What's directly influencing you is feeling a lot of happiness. The Nine of Cups usually means that you're feeling personally satisfied. You yourself are feeling really good. You're also starting a new chapter with the Fool card. You're starting a whole new beginning of some sort, which makes sense because you're all coming out of your birthday month. And there's all kinds of new beginnings that come right after your birthday. So I feel like a lot of you are feeling really excited about whatever this thing is. You're like, oh my God, yes, let's do it. It's about time. Although at the same time, where some of you are right now is the Four of Swords. So some of you are kind of in this retreat mode a little bit. Let me see if there's any advice for you with that. That's Four of Wands in reverse. So it could be that some of you are feeling like you don't really want to go out and play. Like you don't want to go out and play with your friends, that kind of energy. And sometimes I take this to mean that you have friendships. It's just that some of them are a little non-traditional at the moment. There's something a little, it feels like there's almost some betrayal or something that happened of some sort. Yeah, again, they're influencing the non-traditional with the Hierophant in reverse. So there is something here about your retreating because of something non-traditional. So what is the influence of this non-traditional approach to whatever it is? Seven of Swords in reverse. This is good. Everyone was getting this in my the private readings I do one-on-one. A lot of people got this card in the month of June and also some in the month of May. So, and most people have been getting it lately in reverse, which means we're coming out of this energy, which is great news because this is someone who is, it's either someone or an entity like a company, but it could be, it's the energy of someone being lying, cheating, stealing, manipulative. That's coming to an end. So that could be why you're retreating, because this energy was directly influencing you. Somebody was doing something that they weren't really supposed to. So you're kind of taking a structured yet non-traditional approach, and you're kind of taking some time to figure out what that looks like. You've also got the Ten of Wands influencing you. So you're figuring out how you can release burdens. I'm hearing like without excommunicating others. So there's something about you guys casting people out of your life this month. And that could be where this epiphany is coming in, that you're realizing how to do it, how you want to do it. You're focusing on your own personal happiness, but at the same time, you're like, sayonara, suckers. Let me just see if there's anything else that they want to say to you about all this. Spend your time with special people who adore you. Something about mastery is your gift. Okay, let's see what else there is. They're saying it again. Spend your time with people who adore you. 6 of Wands in reverse. There's some kind of victory that you may want that's not necessarily happening. There could be a delay on that of some sort. And maybe feeling like good news isn't coming. I feel like for some of you, you're just kind of meant to take a beat and figure out exactly almost like what it is you want moving forward, how you want to proceed. That something, I don't know, there's something that's not quite right, yet at the same time, overall, your energy is that you're feeling like pretty damn fantastic with the 9 of Cups here. Like you've got that happiness. What you've got in the near future is the Hanged Man in reverse. So usually what this speaks to is the fact that you're in a situation that you're not super happy about. Hence the kind of lying in wait, hanging out energy. I feel like for some of you, it's funny because heartbreak didn't show up, but I feel like some of you are really hurting this month. It feels like there's a lot of sadness, and it could be a friend betrayal for some of you. Something that just like did not go right, and everything else in your life is great, but this is kind of like, it's like digging at you in a way. And so this could apply to this, it could apply to something else, but the Hanged Man in reverse usually means you're in a situation you don't really want to be in. You're kind of hanging out and looking around, and you're meant to see something from another perspective or vantage point during this time. When it's in reverse, I usually see it as like that's coming to an end. The main thing with this is to keep in mind is not necessarily to see it as a martyr, like, oh, poor me, I'm so put upon, nobody likes me, that sort of thing. But rather, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this to my advantage? And sure, use it in a cunning way if you want to. Because it is a learning experience, whatever it is. There is something, you're going through this for a reason. So there is something that you're meant to see and understand clearly that I think will be part of this epiphany moment. In the future, though, you do have a conflict with someone, some sort of argument of some kind. So, who with? My first question. The Hermit in reverse. So it could be a Virgo. Could be someone who's reticent and rude. Someone who hides from the world, but also likes to kind of shake their cane at everybody and be like, you damn kids. Not necessarily. It could be somebody who is also kind of coming out of hiding a little bit. You know, coming out and saying something. Let's see, is there any more that you want Gemini to know about this situation? Star, have hope. Sign of Aquarius. This is usually about seeing the light in the dark, holding on to the hope that things will improve and will get better in time. Ace of Cups in reverse. You may be feeling some sadness this month. Probably also won't help that we'll be in Cancer season the first half, which tends to make a lot of people fairly emo. Best thing I can say for that is to ground as much as you can. And you can always Google how to do that. But mainly walking, being outside, doing anything that makes you present in your body and in the moment, not in your head. Lost some hypotheticals. But much more of like an active position. So, what else should Gemini keep in mind for the month of July 2019? Okay. So the first thing you've got is Messenger of Water or Knight of Cups. This is usually that there's some good news coming. Finally. Yay. You're also feeling somewhat abundant. In this case, I feel the Four of Cups, you're like kind of laying down some bricks. You're laying down a foundation for yourself. You're making some income. You've got some money. You're building. Things are going, and you're like, hallelujah. That it's literally like, thank the Lord. That sort of feeling. You've also got the King of Cups upright. So this is good. I feel like this may be something to keep in mind when you're not feeling so happy. This is usually emotional mastery. I feel like I'm hearing tend to your emotions when you need to. It's almost like a garden. But I feel like be confident in yourself. Speak clearly. Don't be afraid to use your trident when you have to, metaphorically speaking. Use pearls of wisdom and knowledge to your advantage. Like, also be gentle and kind to yourself as much as you can. You may be feeling a little off balance. This is also Libra energy, but this usually means externally there's an imbalance going on. So what can Gemini do about that? The Emperor in reverse. So, let me clarify. Okay. The Emperor usually refers to the Aries sign. Air is your element. And it's funny because you've got the cards for Libra and Aquarius, which are the two other air signs, although the one for you did not show up. So there's a lot of influence of air elements, which relates to thoughts. So this is also mastering your thoughts. So it's interesting when it comes to finding a balance, you've got these two, mastering your thoughts and feelings. The Kings are all about mastery. They're all about kind of the top level when it comes to something. So I feel like, sorry, the guides are saying something that just is like, well, we know that your heart, your feelings are the center of you, your thoughts are the top. But it's about finding that balance between your heart and your head that is important, but will somehow prove the most challenging for you this month. That's what I'm hearing. So find that emotional mastery within you that can get you to the top. Top of what? And it could be when it comes to the Emperor. Now this is, I think it could also be, you don't necessarily have to tap into, since this came out upright. Reverse. This is, you don't have to have the Aries energy, which is very much like, we're going to scorch the earth and then sit on, it's a little bit of Mother of Dragons last season, Game of Thrones, which I wasn't a fan of, but that's another point. This is usually that kind of energy, though, of like, we're going to scorch the earth so we can have a throne and sit on the ashes and say, oh, look who's king. And it's like, yes, but there's no empire because you just destroyed it entirely. That you don't have to take that kind of role. You don't have to be that kind of leader. It's finding some balance between whatever it is, whether it's leadership in your own personal life or in business or relationship, family, whatever, that you don't have to be like kind of the dragon scorching everything, right? No, you don't have to do that. It's finding the balance between here and here. How can you find that balance in between and do the right thing for yourself, for others, for all involved? That's they're saying well intended. Like, it's not, I mean, I feel like it's your intentions, but it's also knowing that you're doing the right thing. It's not just necessarily like, I was hoping for the best outcome, but realistically, what is the best outcome? What would everyone actually benefit from? Because I feel like you know what that is, whether or not it's something that you actually like or want to do, or that you personally benefit from, but you know that everyone else around you will. Okay. So I'm going to end with a card from this deck. And this is just something to keep in mind for the month of July. Cobra. Interesting. So I'm actually going to read the excerpt from this book. Interesting, because this is a fire element, which is very similar to the Emperor. Okay, so this says, Cobra, pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. The Cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The Cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the Cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You guys are going to be learning something new this month. That's exciting. When in balance, a student of life, humble and wise. When out of balance, a know-it-all and egocentric. To bring it into balance, take a class or study. So this is about, I feel like there's something about, you know that you're wise, but it's not being afraid to learn something new, which is hard. It's hard to stay humble sometimes. But it's also, there's something in this too about knowing when you're ready to strike, knowing when it's time to strike, and maybe something about like making sure you have all of the tools to your advantage, all of the things that will help you in this case. So something to keep in mind. And if you see cobras online or on Instagram or something like that, I would say that's probably validating this message. But you can always, if you keep on seeing them and you feel like there's something else to it, you can always Google cobra animal spirit and see what shows up, and what that is meant to teach you. You know, this isn't necessarily like the animal spirit that you're supposed to carry with you and think about for the rest of your life, but it's something that's influencing you this month. Which is interesting that it's in the month of July, which if you're in the northern hemisphere, which you probably are, is summer. So I feel like don't get too hot. Cool off if you want to. Take care of yourself this month, Gemini. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see all of you again next month.